It does not constitute legal advice. The law is constantly changing. The information may not be complete or correct, depending on the date and your particular legal problem. Each legal problem depends on its individual facts, and different jurisdictions have different laws and regulations. Because of these differences, you should not act or rely on any information in this segment without seeking the advice of a competent attorney licensed to practice law in your jurisdiction for your particular problem. And Marshall Chriswell is with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have you with us. You and I didn't discuss, we were talking about other things, so we didn't discuss what our topic would be. I don't know that you have a specific thing that you would want to talk about today.
I did give it some thought, and, one thing that I get asked a lot, and we've been talking about real estate transactions, and how you definitely want to have an attorney involved in a real estate transaction. And this is particularly true if you're looking at a property that is in foreclosure, a distressed property. This is a question that I get a lot. There are a lot of people that are interested in foreclosure properties, and because there are some good deals to be had there, but there's a lot of risk involved. And most of the time, when I see people that are trying to do that on their own, usually it becomes a little overwhelming, a little intimidating, and they end up backing off. But if you get an attorney involved from the beginning, you can minimize some of those risks. So I thought that we could talk about that a little bit.
Okay. Well, there are entanglements, I would assume, when you have a property such as that are much more complicated than a normal transaction. There are things that legal not loopholes, but legal things that have to be done in order to go step by step and make sure you're doing things correctly and you're not wasting a whole bunch of money and time.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we're talking about foreclosures, there are generally three different time periods in the process when people are looking to buy these properties. One would be the pre-foreclosure. That's when a foreclosure action has been filed at the courthouse. The lawsuit that initiates the foreclosure has been filed by the bank against the property owner, but it hasn't gone to sale yet. So the property owner is still in control and can sell that property. The second time frame is the actual sale. So buying properties at a sheriff's sale, at a foreclosure auction. And then the third would be if the lender becomes the owner of that property, if the bank was the successful bidder at the foreclosure sale, and then the bank owns the property, so buying the property directly from the bank. So there are kind of three different time frames there when you might purchase a foreclosure, and it doesn't matter when you're buying it at any of those three periods. It is highly, highly important that you have an attorney review the title and do the necessary investigation to make sure that you're getting your money's worth, even if you're getting the property at a discount.
So depending upon the stage at which you attempt to purchase one of these things, you're either purchasing in that pre-period from the person who is the tenant, if you will, because the property is actually owned by the bank. And then there is a transition where it goes from the pre to the sale period.
Yes.
Is it a hard date by which you, on Saturday or on Friday, I'm dealing with this property owner, and then the sheriff's sale is Saturday, and at midnight on Friday it becomes the other day?
Right. So it's right up until the day and time of the sale. Here in Indiana County, they occur on Fridays.
Oh, okay.
And so right up until, say, it's at Friday at 11 o'clock in the morning, the owner of that property, the property owner that's being foreclosed upon, up until that date and time, they can actually pay off the loan and relieve the property from the foreclosure. Okay. So until the moment of the sale, the owner's in control and they can sell that property. So if you can get in early, and a lot of times these properties aren't listed with a realtor. They're not listed anywhere online as for sale. Sometimes it takes some investigation to see which properties are in distress, some planning, and then to get in touch with the owner to get their contact information. So it can be very, it can be difficult to do, but if you have someone there doing the legwork and the investigation for you, it's possible, and there are some good deals to be had. But as with the entire foreclosure process, if you're buying a property, you've got to make sure to have a comprehensive title search done up front. Normally, whenever you buy, if you buy a home in a normal residential real estate transaction, you're not having that title search done until sometime within the weeks before closing. Mm-hmm. Here, if you're buying a foreclosure, you have got to have that comprehensive title search done before you make an offer or before you go into have the to the sheriff's office to bid on the property.
So we're in that pre-period, that first stage, mm-hmm. and somebody finds out that a property is for sale, is in foreclosure, I should say.
Yeah.
And so their first stop is to see you or another attorney.
Absolutely, because you don't even want to make an offer on a property that is going to be encumbered by multiple liens and judgments that you're going to be that the buyer may not be able to pay those off. You want to ensure that all of those things are taken care of, that they are cleared at closing. So, and sometimes you can look at that and say, well, it's not even going to be possible for the amount that I think the property is worth or what I'm willing to pay for it for the buyer, the owner to pay off those liens and judgments. Mm-hmm. Also, highly important that if you're in that pre-period and the owner of the property can still let you in, inside the property, because later on, once the sheriff's sale comes around, you're not getting in. So if the owner can still let you in, get in there, take a contractor or a home inspector with you and look at it, because that's the other thing with foreclosures is all of these sales are as is.
I would assume that in these property cases especially that there's more likely some sort of lien on the property or some sort of entanglement that is going to complicate a sale unless you have somebody that's going to hack their way through all of that and put something clean on the plate in front of you so that you have something solid that you can deal with.
That's right. Just necessarily, I mean, this property is in foreclosure for a reason. It's because the owner has either just totally neglected their responsibilities or has fallen on difficult financial times. So necessarily, there are going to be things out there like municipal liens, maybe sewage and water bills that haven't been paid for an extended period of time, other utilities, taxes, multiple mortgages. See a lot of properties with 2, 3 mortgages. So you need to. It's very important under Pennsylvania law when you're dealing with foreclosures to know which one of those mortgages has seniority, which one was entered into first, and have there been refinances over the years, and how does that play in? So it becomes very, very complicated, and you want to make sure, like you said, that's a great analogy, to get a clean plate in front of you, and not have these things that are going to be hanging out there that can rear their ugly head after you've already bought a property as is and you've taken on all that responsibility.
Are there times when, as an attorney, you say to a client, you know what, there's so much involved with this property and there are so many different levels of complications that maybe it's just best to wait it out?
Sure. Best to wait until a sheriff's sale. Wait until the foreclosure sale to clear some of these, because that will clear some of the title. Or wait until the bank owns the property and maybe you can get in and do some inspections. So there's some strategy involved. If you're very familiar with the property, let's say it's a neighbor or a property in your neighborhood, and you've been inside and you know that it's in good shape and you think you're getting a good deal, there can be some good reasons to enter into the process at that pre-foreclosure whenever you can deal with the owner directly. There are other situations where it's more beneficial to wait it out, and sometimes you have to tell clients, listen, this one just might not happen. But most of the time they're thankful for getting that advice.
I would assume because nobody wants to be. They don't want to build up their hopes and think that they're right where they need to be, and then all of a sudden it comes in and it's pulled right out from under you.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And another thing is, The foreclosure. So let's say you're buying a property at a sheriff's sale, at a foreclosure sale, or whenever let's say the bank has bought the property and you're dealing with them directly. One of the things that comes up with some regularity is that the actual foreclosure process, that the procedure in the foreclosure was not followed properly, that there were lien holders or joint owners or tenants that didn't have proper notice of the foreclosure. Maybe there's a federal tax lien against this person and the IRS wasn't properly notified. There can be all sorts of little nuances there that can come back and can just blow up after the sale actually occurs. So it is, like I said, just so important the first thing you want to do is make sure that you understand everything that is present in the public records.
Get to the attorney first, and here's how you do it with Marshall Chriswell anyway.
You give me a call at 724-465-5826. Stop and see us in the Atrium Building, downtown Indiana, or online at westernpalawyer.com.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Appreciate your visit. It is